How's it going? I think we're in day 24 of this uncomfortable challenge. I was hoping my sauna would be a few degrees hotter, speaking of uncomfortable, but we're still at about 170 degrees, so I might have to stay in a few minutes longer tonight. I used to be a bit of a heavy drinker, and when I first moved to this neighborhood that I live in now, one of the really exciting parts was when you'd walk through the town, you would see that in several of the restaurants there were strollers and parents drinking during the day and drinking in the bars, and it was very family and family friendly, as you would call it, and obviously it was a good sign that you could have some drinks and with the kids around, and everybody was okay with it and not gonna give you a hard time or judge you for it. So it seemed fantastic. And they started going in, and I'd bring my baby in there, and I'd sit at the bar, and she'd be sleeping, and drunks would come by. Oh, you got a cute little baby in here, and yeah, new to the area, blah blah blah. And COVID hit, so pretty much all that went away for about a year and a half, 2 years. And when I was starting to hang out again, I would, on Friday afternoons, about 2 o'clock, when I'd get out of work, I'd go down to the bar, and I'd sit there, and I loved to belly up to a bar. I loved to just sit there and drink all day. Meet people, hear stories, and get to know everyone, and have a bunch of laughs, have a bunch of drinks. And I started to realize that I'd be sitting there, and it was maybe 7 o'clock at night, and I'd already was plenty of drinks in. Having maybe, at this point, if I got there about 2, by about 7 p.m., I probably had about 12 beers and a few shots. There was always this guy who was an ex-Marine and a electrician, and he was a redhead too, and he'd love doing shots of Black House, and it was so gross, because that's like what we would drink in high school or early in college. And Black House or Rumplemints, and he eventually would be screaming, like all wasted, and just a chip on his shoulder, and he was just miserable in his life, and was obviously drinking it away. And you get to know more of the people and the locals, and it was always around about 8 o'clock, and this guy would come in, and his name was Mike, and Mike would always sit down, and he'd start chatting, and really within short order he would be talking about his divorce. He'd be talking about how he's fighting with his wife. I got divorced, and things are just difficult. I have to have the kids. If she was only around more, or I would be able to do this, and just going on. And eventually I would basically just get tired of hearing about him. But then I started thinking, am I just sitting here like, am I going to be the next Mike? like, am I, is maybe the problem that I'm just sitting at the bar getting drunk while my wife is at home with the kids, and that's where I should be? Like, what good is coming out of me sitting here? So, these are just the initial thoughts. So I would hop on my bike and I would ride home, and because I would ride my bike down to the bar. It was only about a half a mile away. But, I love to drink, so I would come back, and I'd come back, and every Friday, this is my routine, and every Friday, it was also divorced Mike's routine. And it really just, I eventually started looking around, and there was divorced Mike, there was angry Kevin, there was just all of these people that I didn't envy them. I didn't want to be them, and I didn't want to be living their lives. And at first I would just laugh or judge them, but then I started to realize I am another character in this bar. I'm just another person that is wasting my life, that is not doing anything, that they're probably telling their friends or buddies about, or having a laugh at me about, drunk Chris at the riding his bike around and things like that. So, that's just one of the many reasons why kind of drinking started to lose its allure, why it just wasn't helping me out. And it certainly wasn't going to be helping my marriage. It certainly wasn't going to be bringing me closer to my family. And this is just what I had conditioned myself into do for all these years. It was Friday night, drink, Saturday night, drink, Sunday, maybe a brunch, something like that. And how much time I gave, and how much money I spent, and how much my life I've wasted in a bar talking with people that weren't friends. They were drinking buddies. They were co-miserables for just trying to talk about your crappy week or whatever you're unhappy about. And that was part of the reason why there was nothing in it for me anymore with drinking. So on January of 2023, I said I was going to quit. I was tired of being a drunk. I was tired of being hungover. I was tired of, trying to hide it from my kids. And there's not much worse than little children in your face and needing to show up for your family or do family things while you've got a hangover. So, but I failed January 1st, and I continued to drink January 2nd. And then January 3rd, it continued until I finally put my foot down and said, no, I got to dry out. And it's been 2 years and, and a few weeks since I have had a full drink. I've had a few sips here and there just to test myself or kind of taste something when somebody's like, oh, this wine is so great. Oh, this is so delicious. And the truth is that I don't even like the taste of alcohol. And for decades, I've been forcing it down to get drunk. And it's so ridiculous to think how much I did that. And, the real cleanup act was for my kids, because I grew up watching parents drink and drink hard and drink with their friends all the time and then say, don't drink. And there was no way I wasn't going to drink, because I just waited until they were drinking, and then I would snag some of their booze and go down and drink. And that's the same thing that all my friends were doing. So having little girls instead of sons made me show that I needed to be a very different example. I needed to live my life differently if I wanted any chance to not be the hypocrite that I thought my parents were. You know, they loved their Sambuca, and I would drink that Sambuca too, and it tastes like black licorice, super sweet, just so disgusting. Ugh. Standing around in the boiler room in the basement with a few friends, just here you go, and the next person takes a swig, and we're all like, ah, yeah, we're so cool. But hopefully I'm by being this better example, I can save my children a lot of wasted health, wasted wealth, and none of the other baggage of bullshit that happens with heavy drinking. So here's to them. Cheers with water. Because this actually was my drinking cup, that it would be a liter, and it would be half vodka and half club soda. And I would drink a handle of vodka a weekend. So, pretty gross.